Symbols of fake news and how evil it can be. These words spoken by Donald Trump talk about the Covington High School kids. And how true they're going to be and why I agree with them, coming up in just a minute. I was thinking as I'm getting ready to edit this video, so sorry for adding another couple minutes to this already insanely long video. And actually, this is probably going to go in the beginning because it needs to be heard. I do not condone the act of violence towards any one group or people, or whether you're in the right or the wrong. So if you try to use this video or what I had to say as an excuse to go out and attack or defame or dehumanize or belittle or degrade or even violently physically hurt and God forbid kill, if you try to use this video as an excuse, I'm going to deny everything, because this is not what this video is about. I do not support attacking people. I don't support harassing Twitter campaigns or YouTube comments or anything like that. You want to thumbs down a video that somebody did because you disagree with what they say, you want to leave a comment saying why you disagree, fine. Don't attack them. Don't harass them. You want to do the same thing on Twitter? Fine. You want to call out people like Kathy Griffin for their stupidity and for being horrible and immature? Fine. But don't attack them. Do not harass them. Don't try to get them shut down. Because if you're going to shut down, how are you going to know if they've had a change of heart? For one. And two, is that really what Jesus would do? Try to change them through positivity and just be like, hey, well, I'm going to keep using Kathy Griffin because she keeps doing this to herself. Hey, Kathy, I think you're way out of line for what you had to say. Threatening to hurt innocent people is not right. Even if the kid was in the wrong like you think he is, that's just not right. You're more of a cause to the problem than a solution. Maybe you should take a step back and be more mature and attack this from a more mature, educated standpoint instead of irrational emotions. And maybe what the solution you're looking for will finally present itself instead of you seeing more and more problems arise. Granted, I believe she's only doing it as a publicity stunt because that's what Hollywood actors and actresses do. But that's what I will encourage. That kind of feedback to people like that is what I encourage. I know I was very angry and really negative in my video, but I'm not going to be posting my link on CNN's webpage. I'm not going to be going to Kathy Griffith's Facebook page or Twitter page and posting it on her Twitter feed. This is just a statement of facts that frustrated me because they're being left out. So please do not go out maliciously attacking people. Try to make a change. Try to make a difference. Try to make America great again, like it should be made great again. All right, enough. On with the video. Now, okay, it is currently 3:30 a.m. in the morning. I got off work at 12:30 a.m. this morning. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I'm also incredibly frustrated and upset. And, not that surprised either. I happened on the story about Nick Sandmann and Nathan Phillips and how disrespectful and racist these kids were in Washington, D.C. towards a Native American military veteran, because, we got to soften the hearts with the Native American, then we had to soften it with he's an elder, then we had to even get you guys really good, get that knife really deep of guilt and remorse right in there by saying he's a veteran. Not only a veteran, a Vietnam veteran, a war protested by the very same people who are defending it right now, are defending this veteran right now. I'm not saying these people as in these exact reporters and people on the left, but the community that these people have come from, the lefties, the Democrats, protested the Vietnam War. Now, I'm not going to even get into the fact that Nathan Phillips is apparently lying about his military career. I'm not saying he wasn't a veteran. He very well could have been. But saying he's a Vietnam veteran is just as much as me saying I'm a Desert Storm veteran. I was alive during Desert Storm. Wasn't serving then. Now, I mean, he was a little closer to Vietnam time than I was to Desert Storm as far as careers go, or in recruiting age. But, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to get into that. The thing I'm going to talk about is how irritated and frustrated I am right now. I wanted to go to bed right now and go to sleep, but it's not going to happen because I'm incredibly tired. I actually have several videos I had lined up to do before this, but I got so sick of seeing the crap on YouTube, the crap that this professional news team CNN has put together, has thrown out there, and how little regard they have for the damage they've caused. I'm fed up. I'm fed up from here with it. I'm fed up to here with it, quite honestly, and I'm getting sick of it. The fact that people are buying this hook, line, and sinker is just proving all the more what is wrong with this country. CNN and many news media is like him. I'm using it as a prime example because I don't have time to research every single news media out there that's out there right now. Has been caught with their pants down, but instead of coming out and apologizing for the damage and the harm they're going to cause these kids and their family in the school, they're continuing to stand by their guns. Now they admitted there's more to the story and a little more nastiness happened on outside the kids' side of the story, but nobody's coming to the age of the kids. Now, I'm not going to show any of the clips of, well, I might show some here and there of the actual footage of they said it was a 2-hour long video. The only video I can find, the videos I can find are hour and a half to an hour and 46 minutes long of the whole encounter, recorded by the Hebrew Israelites, the radical black group that is actually, I would say, the main cause of all this. But what I'm actually going to talk about, because you've all heard enough about it, is a little more involvement that I see people keep constantly missing out. There's one YouTuber actually, like specifically in the Hebrew Israelites, that he actually hit on this, but I can't remember who it was, and I can't find it for the life of me who it is. If I find it, I'll put in the link in the description. But nobody else seems to notice this, and I haven't even seen it in any of the comments. But we're going to talk about CNN first, and then we'll get back to the Hebrew Israelites, who actually I believe is the main culprit in this whole situation. So as all of you know, these kids are being attacked and defamed and harassed, or whatever you want to call it, because they were wearing MAGA hats at a indigenous peoples rally in Washington, D.C., saying they were being disrespectful, they were being racist, they were being horrible people. And the whole time you see that, I did not see the initial news release, and I'm really, really glad I hadn't, because I'd probably be more angry than I am now. I mean, I've seen clips of it, but I didn't see it when it initially came out. In the clip, you see the kid just standing there with a smile on his face. You would think he was referring to smile as evil as Joker was whenever he's talking about, let's put a smile on that face, and then do something horribly atrocious after. But no, the kid's just standing perfectly still. And you have this elder Native American beating the drum right in his face. Right in his face. Now, I'm no perfect human being. I know me, if I was that kid, it would drive me through the roof. I would have to walk away. The kid showed more guts than I would have, because I know if I stayed there, a lot more than just smiling probably would have happened. So in this clip, he's just beating, and everybody's looking at that smug kid's face for smiling at him. Privileged white boy in his private school. How dare he smile down at his elder? Look at him being disrespectful, and all the kids chanting around him. Well, you know what? Yeah, they do look like a bunch of jerks, a bunch of douchebags. You're right. But I didn't see any racism that the news article is talking about. I didn't hear any build that wall or Trump 2020, which, by the way, how are these offensive terms? Just because, you know, when Obama was running for president and those who didn't like Obama, should we have been offended at anybody that said, yes, we can? Or change, you know, Obama's slogans? No, nobody got offended because they were political slogans. Build the wall, yes, has been used maliciously. And yeah, you could probably say it as that said, but to say it's racist and degrading to the Native Americans is far from it. But it also had to actually happen to become offensive. It didn't. So what actually happened is these kids just started hooting and hollering, dancing around, smiling, and some of them, yeah, they might have been jerks, and some of them probably were thinking and maybe whispering amongst themselves some pretty racist crap, but they accused the entire group, the Catholic school, and wished death upon these kids and their families, and the school is not warranted. Even if they were racist, wishing death on them isn't warranted. I wouldn't wish that. Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Would I think it's probably coming to them? Yeah, probably. karma has a funny way of working around to the people that deserve it. But I wouldn't be saying we need to dox these kids so we can essentially hunt them down, Kathy Griffin. You're so irrelevant now, you just gotta spout nonsense to get your name back out there. You should be ashamed of yourself. Any adult attacking these kids is more immature than the kid standing there smiling at the Native American, at Nathan Phillips. We call us progressive adults. We call us educated, well thought out people. And we're sitting here acting on pure emotion at a picture of a kid smiling in a guy's face as he's beating a drum in the guy's face. What is wrong with you people? For crying out loud. Okay, he's 16 years old. One, he's not legally an adult yet. Two, we all know when we were 16 we were quite stupid and impressionable. It didn't take much to make us think one way or the other. But we're going to say this kid, Nick Sandmann, is the face of everything wrong about white men. White people. America. Really? Really? Are you guys so desperate to defame white men and Trump that you have to use a 16-year-old kid on a field trip that was actually attacked by these two groups? Yes, I'm going to say attacked. Attacked by these two groups. And all he did was stand his ground. Are we all supposed to run and hide now? Curl up in a little ball and just get punched in the face? Kicked in the ribs? Is that what we're coming to as a country now? You know what? Sorry. Not going to happen. No, I'm not going to go looking for aggression. If I can just walk away, I'll walk away. But if I have to defend myself, my religion, my politics, who I am as a human being, because somebody thinks something that happened hundreds of years ago is my fault, a 31-year-old, so that should tell you, oh wait, was he alive 200 years ago? 300 years ago? Oh no, he wasn't. No, I wasn't. So you think a 16-year-old kid's going to be alive when that happens, so we're going to make him at fault for something he has nothing to do with, and you're going to assume just because he's part of our private school, he's rich, privileged, and feels that way? I was part of a private school. You know what? My parents made ends meet trying to get me through that school. Do I think I'm better than anybody else for it? No. I don't. To assume that of these kids is just horrible. Ranting aside, this is why I'm so pissed off. After I was watching some videos on YouTube, I was like, hey, I wonder if everybody keeps talking about nobody's really apologized, nobody's really fully, they kind of step back and like, oh wait, there's more to the story. So I was like, okay, let's see if, you would think somebody's big as CNN would have come out and apologized about it now, especially what has come out of the kids in school. Nope. I looked all over CNN and couldn't see anything. I did find four or five articles that we're going to talk about written since 23 January to the 24th. No apology from CNN. In fact, most of them still trying to make Nick Sandmann the evil guy, and Nathan Phillips the liar on so many fronts, the victim. But no, can't do that. Nathan Phillips is a veteran, a Native American, a minority, an oppressed people. How dare we actually accuse them for doing something they did actually for once wrong? Same thing with the Hebrew Israelites. Oh, those are African Americans. They got black skin color. We can't say they did wrong. How progressive are we to accuse somebody of something they actually did? There's video proof from the person in that group showing their atrocities. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is this article updated 1:04 a.m., January 23rd, 2019. Written by LZ Granderson, sorry. Tricky lesson of MAGA hat confrontation. And I'm going to read just the first paragraph. This is actually I'm going to read the whole thing. It's actually a pretty short article, and I'm not going to read all the articles from start to finish. I'll just point some out. All the links will be down in the description, so if you don't want to take my word for it, you can look at it. I'm going to have screenshots of it here too. So just bear with me. Now, this article, tricky lessons. Actually, it should be easy lessons, but tricky lessons. Lesson of MAGA hat confrontation. And they love that MAGA hat stuff. Somehow it's racist all of a sudden. Not any symbol of political affiliation or the support of the person you voted for. this world is so messed up these days. Anyway, and this article says, it was such an easy sell. Yeah, it was. And you guys knew it when you jumped the gun on this article. That's why you did it. Images of white kids from Kentucky wearing Make America Great Again hats. By the way, what's wrong with trying to make America great? Seriously, what's wrong? We're all trying to do it in our own way. Just because it came out of Trump's mouth, it's now a horrible thing to say. Logic. By the way, this is going to give me a new theme for my channel. I'm going to talk about it in my new welcome video that's coming out. Where common sense is no longer so common. Logic isn't so logical. Facts are not needed, just emotion for truth. We as a people have gotten less and less intelligent, in my opinion. We don't use things that have been taught to us over the years and the ages from people in the past. We just want to jump on bandwagons and become the next part of the next cool kid mob to see who we're going to annihilate next. But anyway, images of white kids from Kentucky wearing Make America Great Again hats and antagonizing an elderly Native Americans seemed like races personified, right? Yeah, if that's what actually happened, it did. It does. Oh wait. Okay. It's okay, guys. CNN's gonna come out and say that there is more to the story. Not so fast. For those who believe that President Trump supporters are just a bunch of racists, a lot of you, the initial videos that surfaced of a confrontation at the Lincoln Memorial last weekend served as a kindling for a fire that's been burning since the elected. It wasn't kindling, it was straight gasoline. Seriously? And these people are paid to be intelligent news reporters. I'm sorry. It wasn't kindling. You know what kindlings are used for? To start fires. And it starts a little baby fire until you add more and more fuel until that fire grows. We're beyond a baby fire growing. We're in a full-blown blaze, and all these people did with these news articles and jumping the gun is add fuel to it. Congratulations, CNN. If you did something right, it was that. And everybody else on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube who jumped the gun on this, and I know that you'll be like, get them, get those liberals and lefties and Democrats, get them. You know what? Shame on you guys too, because I've heard a lot of conservatives jump the gun on this one too and went right after those kids and said, shame on the kids. We're so quick to cover ourselves because we don't want to look like who we're accused of. We want to be called hypocrites because we're like, oh yeah, we don't associate with him. We're in the wrong. We're so quick to do it before we got our facts straight too. So I'm talking to you guys just as much as I'm talking to them. Okay, where was I? Sorry. Yeah, kindling for a fire. Kindling, bullcrap. That's been, and how is a fire from burning since the election in 2016 gonna be just, kept alive by kindling? Logs have been thrown on this fire. Whole redwood trees have been thrown on this fire already. This is just fuel being added to it. Gasoline. Straight gasoline was just poured all over this fire. All over this puppy. Get it really going. Man, there's not enough drama in this country. We gotta, oh yes. Oh, we get so excited. We love the smell of gasoline and burning lives in the morning, don't we? Then the story got complicated. Really? It wasn't actually all that complicated. If you guys waited and actually did your jobs and the research you were supposed to, it wouldn't have been all that complicated. But no, we got to be the first to get the stories out for, or it's not just this anymore. I used to think it was just for this. It's no. How can we further push our agendas? Let's get the news out first. Make ourselves look like the good guys and make the people we want to be the bad guys. I covered in the 2016 election for numerous primary debates to the historic Tuesday night. And it's been my experience that significant number of Donald Trump supporters are racist. Really. Numerous. Not like it's actually a small group of Donald Trump supporters are actually racist, just like a small group of African Americans are actually in gangs and drug dealers and murderers, just like a small group of illegals are smuggling drugs in here and working sex traffic and all that other, well, okay, I can't say sex traffic, but, drugs, getting in Mexican gangs, causing violence in the communities. I mean, they're small groups, but if we came out and said a significant portion of those groups are guilty of these things, you might as well slit our throats then. Are racist. It has also been my experience that a significant number are not. Which is it? Significant number are not racist, or significant number are? How about at least say split down the middle? Still think you're wrong at that point there, buddy. And while many liberals believe those I'm sorry, I'm bad with big words. Ambiguous red baseball caps. There we go. Sorry, I can get there, guys. I just gotta process it. Modern day white hood. The truth is, they are not one and the same. Well, thank you. I didn't know that. Who knew that a red baseball cap was actually just a political statement? The initial video clip of the Covington Catholic high school students, in which a teenage boy faced off with a Native American elder at an indigenous people rally. Wrong again, buddy. The kids said time and time again they were there for a pro-life movement. It's just funny how all this happened at the same exact time. You guys ever stop to think about it? We had the pro-life movement, and somehow this indigenous peoples rally was happening, and then these Hebrew Israelites happened to be there all at the same time, and then made the news shortly after. I'm not conspiracy theorist, but crying out loud, guys, how far down do you have to dig to get your news? Anyway, it was a Roshan inkblot. The other clips that have since been released, in which a group of black men self-identified as the Hebrew Israelites, well, at least they're finally mentioning them, are seen taunting not only the students, but hurling racial slurs at participants of the indigenous peoples rally. Oh, wait. You mean the group of white kids wearing American Great Again hats were not the initial perpetrators in this debacle? They weren't the ones hurling the racial slurs? But again, America Great Again, Trump 2020 isn't a racial slur. Last time I checked, who is it targeting? And I know some of you are going to be like, oh, it's all the minorities. That's what that's targeting. Okay. But these Hebrew Israelites were definitely using racial slurs to white people, racial slurs to the Native Americans, calling them savages. The N-word was used multiple times directed at other African Americans, but nobody's gonna bat an eye at that. It's okay. It's just an African American being an African American. It's totally okay for them to be racist. But if you get a white pigment in your skin, I'm against racism, by the way. Nobody should ever be racist. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. Same thing with feminists, but we'll save that for another video. This is all a reminder, by the way. The decline in public libraries is the rise of tablets, and the rise of tablets have made books less and less popular, but the age-old idiom still remains true. You can't judge a book by its cover. You're just now realizing that? I thought that was the whole point of defeating racism. We need to stop judging books by the cover. Oh, wait. Not if you're white. Got it. I'm catching on, guys. I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. That's not to suggest that high school students were all angels or none of them harbor. And this is the point I'm going to make. They're still playing these kids as the criminals in this, and the Native American as the victim. And the disappointing views. And in a way, yes, they were. By the Hebrew Israelites, the Native Americans were victims. It's not to suggest the students were all angels and none of them harbor disappointing views about diversity. You know what? I can say that about African Americans and Native Americans and Asian Americans and Latino Americans and Hispanic Americans. I can say about any group in this country. I can't, not to say that you're all angels and that none of you harbor disappointing views about another race. You know why? Because there are people that do that. But you know what? I'm smart enough to realize just because a small group does it doesn't mean all of them do it. They're just trying to justify the fact that, like, oh crap, we got caught with our pants down. Well, some of these kids may have thought these things, so they're still in the wrong. I am a firm believer your thoughts are just as bad and wrong as your words that come out of your mouth and your actions, because God knows what's in your heart and mind, so He knows what's right and wrong. But this isn't an attempt to say, hey, look, nobody's perfect. We're all evil. These white kids are still evil, because I'm sure some of them thought some really horrible things. But then why is Nick Sandmann your scapegoat for this whole situation then? If you're like, well, he might be innocent, but his body's probably thought it, so we're going to still keep going after him. But the actions of the group of black men who identify as members of the Hebrew Israelites add depth to a story many thought were fairly easy to figure out because of you guys forgetting to fact check and get the whole story. And all because of a baseball cap. No. All because of a baseball cap and a group of white boys from our private school. Now, teenage boys are reportedly getting death threats. Yeah, they are. Check Twitter. It's all over the place. For being part of something that it appears... And by the way, Twitter's not deleting these things. Appears a bunch of angry adults started. Appears? Did you not watch the video? You're saying that obviously more footage has come out. Did you not watch the video? Did you not hear the words out of the Hebrew Israelites' mouth? Now, I'm not going to say the Nathan Phillips was actually the one that caused all this or caused more anger. In all honesty, what he did was fairly innocent. He just banged a drum in the kid's face, super annoying, but he didn't say anything racist. Now, some guys in his group did, talking about going back to Europe. And some people are like, well, that's not a big deal. Racism. No matter how much you like to sugarcoat it, it's racism. I would be a little bit happier to say, well, nobody's innocent in this picture, but they're still trying to play Nathan Phillips as the poor, innocent, hurted man because reasons. I don't despise social media, but certainly it lends itself to a mob mentality very quickly. And it's not just social media, it's mainstream media. You guys definitely did not help by putting this all over national news without the whole story. And now you're not even distracting from it. Say, hey, by the way, we don't associate with these psychopaths on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube that are calling death threats and, beating people up and offering sexual favors for anybody who's willing to punch a 16-year-old in the face for smiling. No, CNN, we're just going to say, well, supposed death threats, reportedly. Go look at Twitter for like 5 seconds. A white woman getting bent out of shape about black people barbecuing in a public park can quickly become a meme or a hashtag thanks to Twitter. We all knew that. Thanks, CNN, for telling. So you either tell us things that are completely wrong and incorrect, or you like to tell the obvious truth that we all knew long before you decided to actually speak about it. Yay! Pulitzer Prize writing right here. Which is why it's important to resist the urge to grab anything that looks like kindling and toss into the... It's not kindling! You're suggesting that these are small, minor details that aren't actually that harmful until they get thrown in the fire to make it harmful. No, these are straight-on logs. This whole situation is gasoline. These things on social media are logs. Full-on logs. Not meant to keep the fire going for a short period of time. It's meant to get full-on blazes going. And congratulations, you guys have succeeded. On the anti-Trump flame. This is not just anti-Trump. Stop trying to make this all about Trump. For crying out loud, it's been bigger than Trump for a while now. Being politically engaged in electorate is not only important, what's this got to do with anything? It's not only important, it's the heartbeat of healthy democracy. Republic. But there is a difference between simply being engaged and being informed. A voter can be as dumb as a doorknob and still be engaged. Again, not wrong there. It's probably the only correct thing you've really said in this whole statement. And the mob mentality of Twitter. To be informed takes more than outrage. it takes time, at least more time than a second one needs to read a baseball cap. You mean more time it needs to research an incident instead of the seconds you guys did to just throw it out there on the media? Take your own advice, buddy. I know you're not really a member of CNN. It looks like you write for political analysis and columnist for the Los Angeles Times. And you, by the way, if you're an analysis, your analysis an analyst. You've obviously shown a piss poor job in this. Now, this might be just an excerpt from a full-on article you're writing, but still, CNN. If you want to defend yourself, by all means, I want to hear what you have to say. But CNN, I'm going to take a book from CNN's page. I'm just going to take this at face value and not bother to do my research. Now, this video is getting really long, so we're going to move on quickly through the rest of these articles, and then I'm going to wrap this all up. The next article, as Peter from Family Guy would say, what really grinds my gears, is a new video shows a different side of the encounter between a Native American elder and a teen MAGA hat. And teens in MAGA hats. Now, it says it was a moment in a bigger story that is still unfolding. These reporters, I swear. So this article starts off and it says, in a new video, another group taunts the students from Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky with despairing and vulgar language. This is the worst these Hebrew Israelites are going to get, by the way, in any of these articles, to say that they did despairing and vulgar language. The group of black men who identify as members of Hebrew Israelites also shout racial slurs at participants of Indigenous People's Rally. Again, the true instigators of this whole situation. You actually watch their own video. They show you them getting in arguments with these Native Americans at this Indigenous People rally and other passerbyers. The new video had context to an encounter viewed by many as the latest sign of bigotry infecting the country. Yeah, it is, but it only works when it's white people. I guess these Hebrew Israelites aren't bigots. They're just people speaking their mind. Screenshots of a smirking teen staring down at an Omaha tribe elder, Nathan Phillips, spread through the internet, sparking widespread outrage. I wonder, again, whose fault is this? You guys certainly didn't help, and you're still not helping. But a teen who says he was involved in the encounter said the student's actions have been wrongly interpreted as racist. In a statement, Nick Salmon, who's the kid in the photo, looking at Nathan Phillips, the Native American elder, Nick Salmon and the students decided to raise their voices to drown out Hebrew Israelites' inflammatory comments. They were very inflammatory, most definitely. And you'll see these kids, they actually chanting school spirit chants. And I know all of you who've been a part of high school know what school spirit chants are. They're not meant to be racist. They're not meant to be offensive, at least in most schools. My school certainly wasn't. Not to intimidate or mock Phillips. Phillips has said the teachers blocked his... And then all of a sudden it just says... So it jumps from Nick talking about what they were actually doing, and they were trying to drown out the Hebrew Israelites, and by the sounds of it, didn't really care, or didn't even care or notice about the Native Americans. They were there for a pro-life march, and then went sightseeing. They were told by the chaperones to meet up at the Lincoln Memorial so they can get on their bus to head back to Kentucky. The sad thing is the Catholic school is still kind of condemning these kids, even now that the truth is fully out. But it goes from him talking about what was actually going on to and saying not to intimidate or mark Phillips. So suddenly say Phillips has said the teen blocked his escape. What's that got to do with Nick Salmon's statement? But neither Salmon's statement or the video will be the last word of the controversy, and here the video shows. No, because you guys won't even come out and put an end to it. You're continuing adding, as the previous article writer said, kindling to the fire. Now, in this article, they talk about the Hebrew Israelites, who they are, what they stand for. They're a very radical group. From this, I've never heard of them before up until now, but they appear to be incredibly radical. And, it could be just another situation of a small group of guys, part of this group, just giving them a bad name. I haven't done any research on them yet, so I'm not going to condemn all the Hebrew Israelites. But these 3 or 4 men that were here in D.C., definitely the lowest of low. So it starts off with them yelling at random passerbyers, "Peace of what land?" The men responded, "How are you going to have peace to this land where you got this madman in the White House?" The camera pans to the group, catching the first glimpse of the teenagers, at least one wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat. There you go, you pompous. I'm working on my cussing, so I'm not gonna cuss. You guys can read. You can see the cuss word right there. There you go, you pompous. Over the wearing American Great Again hat. Over there wearing America Great Again hats. One voice says, "Why are you not angry at them? They're not the ones yelling racial slurs at different people just because they disagree with you." This article doesn't talk about it, but the Hebrew Israelites. Sorry, I did eat some Nathan's hot dogs recently. Anyway, Hebrew Israelites were calling the Indians savages because they worship essentially because they worship totem poles. Again, I'll have the link in the description so you can see it yourself. You don't have to watch very long to hear it. Because they worship totem poles, this is why they had their land taken from them. They try to play the sympathy card where they're sympathetic to the Native Americans, but then they undercut it with these statements of being called savages. You guys basically deserve to have your land taken because you don't follow the one true God. Now, I'm a Christian. God does punish those who disobey Him, but it's kind of a bold it's literally the pot calling the kettle black. One sinner cannot be mad at another sinner for a different sin. I cannot be mad and say, God did this to you because of this. That's not my place. I'm a sinner just as much as anybody else and have had a lot of bad things happen in my life. I'm pretty sure God did to me because I disobeyed. So who are these guys to say, "Oh, we have bleeding hearts for these Native Americans. However, you got what was coming to you." You even hear one woman say, "We don't believe in these things." They talk about worshiping eagles and stuff. We don't believe these things. That's not our religion. And this guy had the balls to say, she's asking why you're saying these things, and he goes, "It's freedom of religion and freedom of speech. That's what it's called. How are you talking down to these people for what they're doing?" Not cool, man. I know as a kid we went around witnessing door to door, handing out tracts and stuff, but we didn't say, "Hey, shut up and listen to us. Our religion's better." And when they confronted us, they say, "Well, that's freedom of religion." We just say, "Hey, we just want to talk about God. You want to listen?" They didn't have to. And then if they didn't, we just say, "Okay, have a nice day," and walk off. If they didn't slam the door in our faces. And then here he goes. Yeah, y'all talking about peace. This is the Hebrew Israelites again. "There ain't gonna be no peace," the leader speaks and shouts. What has America been great for our people? When has America ever been great for the North American Indians? The main speaker shouts. America ain't never been great. It only been great for you Beckerwoods. Then the camera turns to show the students a few feet away. Again, kids are just standing there. You're not hearing anything. And you watch the video yourself. Kids aren't. A couple of kids are like, "How are we racist?" Baffled and confused. The man calls them out for wearing MAGA hats to a rally of indigenous communities. They weren't there for that. Time and time again, they were there for the pro-life movement, and then they went sightseeing, and because their bus was meeting them there to take them back into Kentucky, that's happened where they had to be. It's not their fault the indigenous people are having their rally there too. Blame the bus company if you really want to be mad at somebody for those kids being there. Seriously. Granted, this is the Hebrew Israelite doing this without knowing this, but a lot of you jumped on the bandwagon with them pretty quickly. Like, why are those kids there disrespecting those Native Americans and their indigenous people rally? And still are doing it even after hearing why they were there. And then it goes on to talk about Nathan Phillips intervening, saying that he was, blocked in and not allowed to leave or going anywhere when he walked right into the group of kids. And most of them got out of his way when he walked into the group. The only one that didn't was Nick Sandman. And why should he? That Nathan Phillips has just as much right to walk through the stairs just as much as Nick Sandman has to stand there. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't saying anything. But then the Native American got all up in his face and being a drum, and he says he wouldn't let me move. I guess standing there with your hands behind your back and smiling is not letting you move. The kid's like this big around. There was plenty of gaps on his sides. You could have walked around him, but you were too busy making your point and wanted to make yourself the victim. You had your own people blocking you in behind you. Yeah, there was a few kids back there, but I'm sure if the kids let you into the group, they're going to let you right out, especially with your own people there. They could have pushed them out of the way. Yeah, load of crap. And that article is written at crap, I scrolled up too fast. I hate you, CNN. This website's garbage. 1:05 a.m. Same day, 23. So it was like a minute later after the last article I read you. And then here's another article. I'm not going to go through this. It's just basically saying how horrible we are as Americans because of what we did. They got it. It's titled, and this was written at 7:54 p.m. 23 January. America mocks and dehumanizes natives at every turn. And then talks about the. And I will read this part. Let's be absolutely clear about something here. Whatever else may have been said about it, our country's reactions to it, the racist disrespect of Nathan Phillips, a Native American elder, by Nick Salmon, because he stood there and smiled. How is that racist disrespect? Come on! Talk about reaching at this point. Racist disrespect because the kid stood there and smiled. They should only be thankful that's all he did. If he's truly this hateful racist person, he could have easily punched that man in the face, shoved him around, yelled things in his face as the guy drummed in his face. But no, he stood there and smiled. We're not going to be able to smile anymore, people. Welcome to the new America. I guess we are truly making America great again. And his MAGA hat clad classmates of Covington Catholic High School at Lincoln Memorial is nothing new. In fact, it's quite common. It's quite the common thing. This increasingly deprived society, that kind of behavior is often encouraged or excused as just being a good old American fun. I never remember my dad telling me, hey, mocking, making fun of, and being disrespectful and racist towards Native Americans is good old American fun. And then they go on to talk about the Atlanta Braves, the Cleveland Indians, the Kansas City Chiefs, Chicago Blackhawks, and then they won't even say the Washington Redskins. They just say, well, Washington NFL team. Yeah, maybe not the greatest name in the world to name a football team. But seriously, guys, you're so afraid of the atrocities of the past that you don't even want to mention anymore. I don't know how many times I've read articles and seen documentaries and played games where Nazis aren't Nazis anymore. They're just Germans, part of the Axis power of World War II. So, this writer, he or she, not Simone Moya Smith, he or she can be either or. Oh, it's a he. They got a picture of him. Oh, hey. Oh, this is going in my video. Look at this guy's smug look on his face. He's being disrespectful and racist to me. He's like, look at me. I'm better than you. I'm a writer. I got my article featured on CNN. What's up? Oh, no, that's just me taking a profile picture for you guys. There's no hidden meaning behind that little smug face of mine. Not a little. But, oh, wait. The kid's white and from a private school wearing MAGA hats. He's definitely got some malicious thoughts in his head, and he definitely was disrespectful and racist to the Native American for smiling. So this whole article is like trashing America and how horrible we are to the Native Americans and how these kids are the prime example of this. And yeah, so we had the article earlier talking about how the MAGA hats are not one and the same with the white pointed hats of the KKK. But then you got this writer written actually hours after the previous one, because this is at almost 8 o'clock at night on the 23rd, where the other one was at 1 o'clock in the morning on the 23rd. This is exactly quote for quote, and I'll let you guys see it for yourself. Still, it's quite quickly becoming clear that the MAGA hat threatens to become the white pointy hood of our generation. One writer on CNN says it's not one and the same. Another writer is saying it sure the heck is. And look at my smug face. This is a face you can trust. No malicious intent behind this head. With our beastly bellow, build a wall. I mean, I'm all for about immigration control, and you know what? Knock yourself out, Trump, if you want to do it. I mean, you're not the first politician that wasted our taxpayer dollars. I mean, the wall's not going to stop anything. But if it makes people happy, okay. I guess it's not stealing taxpayer dollars if they're willingly letting it happen. It's far from racist and an example of why our country's so horrible. Oh, I'm sorry. The build the wall is slowly beginning to replace the white power statement. I think I'm getting dumber as I read these articles. Are you guys getting dumber by listening to these articles? I'm sure some of you are going to be like, oh, I'm getting dumber by listening to you talk. So, they talk about by abandoning the hat, he was clearly trying to play the sweet kid. And they talk about Nick Salmon again. But footage does not lie. He will be remembered as the white boy. The white boy. That's not racist. With the Brett Kavanaugh-like smirk, who will never be able to tomahawk chop at Atlanta Braves game without being filmed. Oh, he's in Kentucky. I highly doubt he's an Atlanta Braves fan. I'm actually thinking about that. That's really retarded. Okay, yeah, I've been to an Atlanta Braves game, and I'm a Red Sox fan, but I'm actually currently living in Georgia. Unless he's a huge Major League Baseball fan like I am, and I do hope someday to watch a game in every stadium. I don't think the kid's just like, I'm going to go to Atlanta Braves and do the Tomahawk Slam. Actually, you know what? I was there. I didn't do the Tomahawk Slam. I had my girlfriend at the time look at me and goes, why are they doing that? I was like, oh, it's just it's the symbol for the Atlanta Braves. And she was actually incredibly liberal and quick to the race card. She just shrugged it off. She didn't see it as offensive. Somebody complete opposite of who I am politically and socially on these certain topics didn't even take offense to that. And I'm sure there are people that do take offense, and I can see why. I'm not going to call them idiots for being offended by it, but I'm also not going to say we need to get them all because they're enjoying a good sports game. And that is the only difference here. Salmon intentionally mocked a native elder for an entertainment of his friends, got caught, and still won't apologize. Smiling and standing is not mocking. Some of his friends definitely look like they could be mocking with trying to match the yelps and hollers from the Native Americans and trying to match their chants to their tone. But honestly, from what I got from the footage, these kids were doing the spirit chant, and then the Native Americans come up and start beating the drum and chanting. Kids are pretty stupid. I'm pretty stupid, and I'm 31 years old. I might have been like, oh, they saw what the Hebrew Israelites are doing, and they're trying to help and trying to like, hey, like, let's just all have fun and have a good time and chant. But then you find out Nathan Phillips' true nature when he actually gets on the news. He was saying that the evil white man standing on the stairs of Lincoln Memorial was what was in the wrong, not the Hebrew Israelites yelling the N-word, calling the Indians savages, saying they deserve to lose their land, and calling these kids the gay slurs and telling them that they're going to be, and it's one of these articles talk about they're all going to be, actually I think it was the last one I just did, they're all going to be future school shooters, and they're part of a group that's nothing but child rapists and molesters. But no, these kids aren't innocent. They're not the victims. Nathan Phillips says, and Nathan Phillips was a victim, him and his people, by the Hebrew Israelites. But the Hebrew Israelites aren't wearing the MAGA hats. The Hebrew Israelites aren't white. Hebrew Israelites weren't there for a pro-life rally. Hebrew Israelites weren't Catholic. That doesn't fit the narrative that they're trying to push here. Why would we go after them? Talk about hashtag native Twitter. The fight against this kind of hate and mockery. Yes, there is hate and mockery against the Native Americans. That is not a joking or laughing matter. That is not some lie concocted by the left-wing social justice warriors or any other person you want to label. Racism is bad amongst the African American communities. Racism is bad amongst the Native Americans, the Hispanics, the Latinos, the Asians, everybody. And surprise, surprise, it's bad against white people. As a perfect example by these Hebrew Israelites that nobody's really condemning. They will point out their wrongdoings, but nobody's condemning them. They're too busy trying to get Nick Salmon to be a 16-year-old kid. If he did something absolutely horrible and it actually was in the wrong, I would understand it. But he stood and smiled. But it doesn't stop there. 10:04 a.m., 24 January 2019. This is about Native American elder from viral stare down says teen's response is coached and insincere. Again, these will be on the link. I'm not going to read it all. And this guy's 64, by the way. Acting more immature and baby-like than a 16-year-old boy. Whether the kid was told what to say or not, he was still very mature and more controlled than these people were. And Nathan Phillips didn't even watch the whole apology. After listening to 30 or 40 seconds of Salmon's lengthy interview, Phillips decided he didn't need to hear anymore. Now, I guess that's pretty progressive. I heard what I wanted to hear. Shut it down. Why would I want to hear the whole story? Why? Because if I hear the whole story, I'm at risk of hearing something that says I'm wrong. And then I'm going to have to apologize. I'm going to have to be the one to apologize. I can't do that. I can't do that. Why? That would just ruin everything I've been standing up for all these years. I'll be ruined. But you know, it's okay. These kids are getting death threats. The school had to shut down for a couple of days because they were worried about the safety of the kids and the teachers. But my credibility is at risk if I watch any more of this interview. And just because you stopped watching it doesn't mean the rest of the world did. I'm sure a lot of you did stop watching it. Coached and written it up for him. Insincerity, lack of responsibility. Where's your responsibility, Nathan Phillips, you supposed Marine Scout veteran of Vietnam? Where's your nobility and sense of responsibility? You're an elder of your Native American tribe. From my understanding, elders are supposed to be respected because they're wise and influential. No, you're definitely influential. Wise is definitely not what I would call you. You talk about how you take care of your kids and your community. I feel sorry for you kids if this is what they get to learn from. You're not taking responsibility of your lies, your instigation, your invasion of personal space. Because a kid decided to stand on the stairs with a smile on his face, wearing America, Make America Great hat again, and then lie saying these kids will yell, saying, build the wall, Trump 2020. Again, not offensive. Not offensive. Not like I said, calling them savages, using the N-word, calling kids crackers, getting the gay slurs. None of that's offensive. But build the wall in Trump 2020 is offensive. Smiling's offensive. I mean, I will admit, smiling can trigger people sometimes. I remember a woman in Virginia got very mad at me for some reason while we were driving down the road. I guess she didn't like my big Jeep in her way. I just gave her a thumbs up and smile, and she just lost it. I mean, admittedly, mine was malicious. I just did it because it was funny. She was in the wrong, but she was mad at me, so I was like... And then she lost it, pulled in front of me, slammed on her brakes. But anyway, getting off topic here. But that, even if the kid was being smug in his smile, again, he could have done so much worse. I have seen time and time again these progressive SJW liberals be incredibly disrespectful to an elder. Insanely disrespectful to an elder. I don't see them being crucified on national news. I don't see them getting death threats on Twitter. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. And they're progressive. They're in the right. And Phillips felt moved into that whirlwind. Why didn't you approach the Hebrew Israelites? Because that would have been as effective for your cause as running into a group of white... Well, okay, I won't say run. He probably could barely run. Of white kids wearing MAGA hats. And then Nathan Phillips tries to take the high ground, saying he forgives the kids and Nick Sandmann, even if they refuse to apologize, and he forgives the chaperones who have told the kids that this wasn't the place or time. I gotta watch the whole video through again, but I remember a part where there was an adult pushing some of the kids back saying, stop back, it's not worth it. But nobody's talking about that. Why? Why would they? Not part of the narrative. And he still likes to see some sincerity and responsibility. And then this is, like I said, there's down here through the article is a link for priests of MAGA hats have no place on school trip. Somebody's trying to save face. Where is your backbone, America? Where is your backbone? You're not going to be in the wrong if you're standing up for the truth. Calling this kid a racist is not the truth. You're a bunch of cowards. And he's an easy target because he's a 16-year-old kid. Kid probably is too afraid to say anything else at this point. And I don't blame him. He's not only put himself at risk just by standing there, but he's put his school, his classmates, his friends, his parents, his family, maybe even his church at risk. Just because he took the high ground in that situation, figuratively and literally. And we want to punish him for it. So much worse could that kid have done to that Native American. But he just smiled and stood there. Some of his friends did get out of hand. And was it intended to be racist? No, I think it was just a bunch of kids getting caught up in the moment. They went from a spirit chant for their school to a Native American group walking in, banging drums and chanting too. So a lot of them probably thought they were just joining in on the fun. Thought we were helping them driving out the Hebrew Israelites. And maybe Nathan Phillips actually intended that in the first place. But then when he caught wind, he's like, hey, this is like pure gold. If I spin this as me being the victim in this whole situation from just the white kids, I got him. I got him by the heartstrings. And boy, did he ever. He got you two-faced conservatives just as good as he got the liberals. Some of you have come out and apologized. Good on you. Now encourage your counterparts to do the same. This is not fair, people. Like I said, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. CNN, shame on you. A professional organization. Face of free political speech and news. Equal rights. Where's your equal rights there? Where is it in any of these articles? Where is any of you coming out and say, hey, by the way, we're sorry, we screwed up? At this point, I'll be happy with that because at least it shows you got some guts to admit that you're wrong. Saying, oh yeah, more news has come out is not admitting you're wrong. Say, it's like this. Hey, more news came out. It's not necessarily what you think it is, but let's brush that under the rug real quick. Okay, we came out and did. That's our apology. Forgive us, everybody. But Nick Salmon and his people still need to apologize. They're absolutely horrible racists in the prime face of America. Why we're all wrong. Grow up, CNN. That kid standing on that staircase, smiling in the Native American's face, has more maturity, strength, and bravery than you do, and ever will. And until you prove me wrong, I have stopped watching mainstream media for a while, and this is exactly why. And this is exactly why I will not be going back. You guys are getting mad because Trump's attacking you, calling you fake news, and people are on board with it. You know why people are on board with it? Because you just proved it's true. Right here. And you're right, this isn't going away anytime soon. The hate is out there now. The disgust is out there now. Both sides are pissed off. Congratulations. You don't care about America. You want to do what you think makes you look good and right. You want to add that coin to your purse. And I'm not talking about just CNN. I'm just using them because it was really easy to find more crap on their garbage website. Fox News, MSNBC, any other news source, name it. Grow up. Your political standpoints is not important anymore. The health and safety of this country is. And you're ruining this with your one-sided, two-faced opinions. And it's getting sickening. We're paying the price. And our people are becoming too much sheep-like to realize it. Conservatives making fun of the liberals and Democrats because they're being NPCs. We are too, and you just proved it with this as well. jumping ship the moment this kid looked like he did something wrong without knowing the whole story. Now, again, this is a small group of you. But you know what's sad? These small groups are being heard more than the majority. You know why? Because they know what the adage means, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Start becoming the squeaky wheel so we can drown them out and get this problem fixed. You want acceptance and equal right? Start acting like we're equal. Stop making fun of each other. Stop calling each other names. And you're like, hey, you sound like you're talking to a bunch of kids as a father. I am. I'm not your father, but I'm sure as heck talking to a group of kids. I don't care if you're 95 years old, or if you're 35 years old, or if you're 2 years old. Those of you who reacted poorly to this and immaturely and too quickly on this because you were too stupid to understand this has been going on for a while, it should have been like, something's not right. I don't hear Bear the Wall or Make America Great Again or Trump 2020 being said in this short clip on CNN. That should have been your first clue. Where's the racist hate in these kids? Oh, because they're jumping, hooting, hollering, and smiling? That's racist hate? It might have been disrespectful, yes. Racist hate? No. White privilege? No. Get your heads out of your butts. For crying out loud. Now, like I said, you're not going to hear it yet because I haven't posted the new welcome video. And maybe I'll do it post that before I post this on YouTube. Because I'm sure I'm going to have to do a lot of editing for this. Like I said, it's now 4:30 in the morning when I should have been in bed 3 hours ago. I wouldn't have been able to sleep anyway. As you can see, I was quite fired up. I'm going to post a positive scripture message at the end of this. I'll be surprised if a lot of you watched all the way through. But if you do, I highly encourage you to listen to the scripture, whether you're religious or not. In fact, you know what? I'm not only going to do a positive scripture verse, I'm also going to find a positive quote out there. Because we do need to realize there is still hope. There will always still be hope. We just need to act on that hope and stop acting on the hate. Stop being too worried about proving yourself to be right. Be the bigger man. Be the bigger woman. Be the mature one. Take a page from Nick Sandman's book. Sometimes it's better to just stand there and smile. People may still think you had ill intentions, but there's not that you can't do it. There's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta accept it. Eventually, people are gonna catch on. The more you show you're worked up by this, and I know I'm talking to myself right now because of this big angry tangent I just went on. The more you prove you're worked up by this and offended by this, the more they're gonna use it to poke you. They're getting the reactions they want. You're giving them exactly what they're looking for. You're getting sick of being taken out of context? Try to be more positive and loving in your statements. And I will do the same. I'm not going to say my future videos are going to be all lovey-dovey and let's all hold hands in the future. I'm probably going to sure have more anger outbursts because you guys sure the heck know how to add the gasoline to the already burning fire. Stop acting like you're clueless to what the issue is. Stop acting like you had the moral high ground in this situation. Both sides of the fence. Nobody does. We're all guilty. Now, enough with that. I'm going to go ahead and just close it out with the verse and the quote. And we'll go from there. Before I actually get on these positive quotes, I forgot about this. I saw this quote. It's one I just Google search positive quotes real quick. And it's really funny. This is one of the top three, the first three that I saw. Speaking of smiling and being such a hateful and disrespectful smile or look on a face because you're smiling. Your smile will give you positive countenance, that will make people feel comfortable around you. Les Brown. Boy, I wonder what he'd think if he saw that kid smiling right now. And all the hate and anger it's caused. That's sad because that's what a smile should be doing. In this case, it's not. How dare we smile anymore? And there's also the phrase "smile in the face of danger." That's probably what Nick Sandman felt. He was smiling in the face of danger. That situation was getting pretty volatile, especially with the Hebrew Israelites there. It's not how it was taken as, though. Since I actually went very long and very negative and very angrily in this, I'm actually going to give you 2 positive quotes. And technically I'm giving you 3 with that one about smiling, but this one is actually one of the first ones I saw that I wanted to use is, once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. And that was by Willie Nelson. Good old Willie Nelson. Which, I mean, no matter what you may think of him, there's a lot of truth to that statement. Now the next one, I believe you keep your faith, keep your trust, keep the right attitude, you're grateful, you'll see God open new windows. Joel Osteen. Now I'm gonna challenge you guys after I'm done reading the scriptures, and one of those challenges is gonna involve thinking positively and so we can have positive results. Start thinking positive about the other side. I'm talking about you on the left, even the extreme left, and you on the right and the extreme right. Start thinking positive about the other side. You want to fix this country, make it great again forever, whatever reason you want to make that stand for. Think positive about one another and make it a lot easier to get these equal mentalities that we've been looking for. It'd be a lot easier to make the hate go away. It'd be a lot easier to avoid situations like this. But the only thing is, we love negativity in this world. We really do. Misery loves company. If we're miserable, everybody has to be miserable. Let's try to get away from that for a change. Now, for the positive scripture verses, and I know if for those of you who've made it this far, a lot of you are going to start leaving at this point, which is fine. I'm not here to force my religion down your throat or anything, but this is my channel, and this is how my channel is going to be from here on out, for those of you who aren't aware. But the first one is going to be Proverbs 17:17. And I think this is perfect for this situation. Absolutely perfect. A friend that loves at all times, and a brother is born from the time of adversity. See if we can show some love at all times, make some new friends through this whole situation. See if we can have brothers and sisters be born out of this adversity. The more we do this, the greater and stronger this country will grow. I'm a firm believer this country is not as great as it used to be. It is taking a downfall fast. I don't know what triggered people to get like this. And I'm not talking about we were great back during the Civil War or anything. I'm talking about great as a people. We were horrible for having slavery. We were horrible how we treated women. We were horrible about how we treated the Japanese during World War II. We were horrible for all the atrocities. And I'm not saying that's what made our country great. But what made our country great is how we have learned and grown from that. And we were continuing to grow from that to become greater and better as a people and as a country. But now we're losing sight of that very quickly. And that strength through adversity is becoming hatred quicker and faster. We need more love in this community. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Simple as that. America needs to unite again. But right now we got this side united, and a bunch of us in the middle that are grabbing our heads and squeezing it and just thinking, when will this stop? We don't know what to do. People who say I normally identify as liberal or democratic are like, I don't know if I want to fully identify as that, but I'm definitely not conservative, so where am I going to go? Same thing with the conservatives. There's people on the conservative side, myself included, that sees all the bad on the extreme right side. It's like, and it's not because I'm afraid to call myself a conservative. I will always be a Republican. It's going to take a great deal for me to change on that. But there are definitely things some Republicans and conservatives believe that I don't want anything to do with. I'm not necessarily as bad of holding my head in the middle and saying, what am I going to do? But I can understand why people are feeling that way. We're all worried about identifying as one or the other because there's so much evil on both sides that we don't want to be associated with it. Why can't we be like, I am a white, Republican, straight, Christian male, but that is not exclusive to all the evil associated with every single one of those groups. I have nothing to do with that, and I want nothing to do with that except to eliminate it. I am trying my best to be the best of all those groups, and I challenge both sides to do the same. Another verse, Isaiah 40:28-31. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary. He increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary. I'm sure Nick Salmon is growing very tired and weary right now, and I'm really hoping he's remembering this verse. And young men stumble and fall. We all stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Now, I think one of the most important things to remember in this verse, and I'm going to point this out again in my final verse I'm going to read, is I don't see the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not go tired, weary. His understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. I don't see it saying he gives strength to the weary white men. I don't see him saying he gives power to the weak white men. I don't see him saying the weary black man, the weary weak man, or weak black man. I don't see him saying African American or African or Native American or Asian or Latino or Republican or Democrat or gay or straight or LGBTQ+. You know what I see in there? To all who are weary. He gives strength to all who are weary. He gives power to all who are weak. All youths grow tired and weary. All young men, and it says men, but he means people. All people stumble and fall. But those, I don't hear exclusive rights to this either. But those, anybody who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar. All will soar like eagles. I hate it when people try to use the Bible as an example of why we're allowed to be racist. Why we are saying only certain groups are accepted to God. They are sorely misunderstanding. They take certain scriptures out of context and use that as their prime example when the whole Bible is just like this. And we need to be just like this. Everybody is equal in God's eyes. Everybody's a sinner. Everybody's deserving of a life in hell, but however, he loves all of us to give us a chance to live in heaven with him. And that's where I'm going to bring me to my final verse. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, the world as a whole, last time I checked, the world include everybody in it, that whosoever believeth in him, not that Anthony believes in him, not that Republicans believe in him, not that Democrats believe, whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. If we think like Jesus and God does, where we're all his children, we all love each other as he loves us, I guarantee you that equality you're all looking for, that being on the right side of the fence, and I'm not talking about right as Republican, the correct side of the fence will be there. Until then, enjoy the fire. Enjoy having fuel constantly thrown on it, because that's what's going to continue to happen. Now, I hope you all have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching. And if you watch this all the way through, I want to thank you very much. I'm not doing this for ad revenue. I do this because I had a lot on my heart and mind to share with you all. I was a little harsh at times. Just, the truth hurts. The truth really does hurt. And I'm really curious to what you guys think. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments below. If you are going to mock and make fun of everybody on one group or the other without giving factual evidence, well, you shouldn't mock anybody at all. But if you're not going to have civilized, mature discussions, I'm just going to ignore you. And I encourage those of you who are having civilized, mature discussions down below, do the same. Don't give them any attention. I'm not going to delete or block them, not unless they get way extreme. If they get extreme, they're going to tie my hands behind my back. I'm not going to block them, though. Just ignore them. And if you're a Christian like me, pray for them because they're going to need it. So, again, guys, I'm sorry that you made it this long. Thank you very much if you're willing to watch all the way through. And I hope you all have a good night and a good day. And God bless.